down there, if that's okay.
Okay.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Mark Davis, Wasatch School Board President. Thanks for letting us come tonight. We have several people here who will be presenting tonight. I'll just give kind of an overview of where we're starting. For the past several months, we have been looking for a site to build an elementary school on in the area of Daniel or the Wheeler Park area due to the growth that we've experienced there. We have looked at several sites and then narrowed it down to a site that's located on Ranch Drive, specifically lots 7 and 8. We have purchased those lots and we met with the town of Daniel, the mayor, and others several times and expressed our intentions of what we wanted to do on that site as far as an elementary school. So we are here tonight to present what we intend to build on those lots and present what our intentions are. So with that, I want to turn some time over to Superintendent Shoemaker and then to our engineer.
Thank you, President Davis. Members of the town board and community members, thank you for allowing us to spend some time here. We're here to talk about a school that would be built in Daniel. It's on lots 7 and 8 in Daniel Estates, and that borders actually a proposed road eventually that would be built out on Heber, that Heber City has also on Wheeler Road. So what we want to talk about today are 3 things. We want to talk about one, what we're trying to do, so you have a clear idea of what it is that we're trying to do. 2, we want to make sure we understand from the town. We received some preliminary data of some impact fees, and we wanted to talk about those a little bit too with the town board if we could also, so we go and have a conversation about that. We recognize that Daniel does not have sewer capacity, so we've been in conversation with both the health department as well as here in the county, as well as with Daniel Town, the mayor and others, as we've been talking about what to do with that, and Heber City, because this site borders on that Wheeler Road that I'm talking about. There is sewer capacity from the Heber Valley Special Sewer District that's sitting in that road that's just right accessing right next to that property. Now we've had some meetings also with some folks from that live on that particular road who have expressed concerns of us building there. Those have been frank meetings. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And the board president has described what our intention is to try to do here. When you're building a school that kind of borders both towns, it's fraught with different kinds of issues. And so that's part of what we're trying to do here. But I'd like to outline a little bit of the case of why we're interested in doing this. Heber Valley, as we all know, is growing dramatically. We're in the midst of another growth spurt, I believe, right now. And we have been for 20 plus years. We've been growing at an average rate of right around 3% for 20 plus years in this valley. And sometimes it's more and sometimes it's less, but that average growth rate presents incredibly difficult challenges for the school district as we contemplate where do we build schools. We try to place schools as much as we possibly can, as close to where the children are. We feel strongly about that and have for years felt that that is best for the children involved and for their parents, particularly the community. We think it does good things for both the community, the children, their safety. We feel strongly that that's best for the children in many respects. If we can keep them off long bus rides, if we can keep them away from major traffic as much as we possibly can, if it can be a walking community as much as it possibly can, that seems to be what's good for children. And so those are the kinds of things that we felt strongly about over the years. So as we've analyzed different sites, property on 3000 South and other sites that President Davis was talking about here, we felt very strongly that the place to put this school would be closer to Wheeler Park for many reasons. One of which, there are many, many children coming from that particular community. Many children. And we felt it would be better and safer for them if they could walk as much as possible to the school. And so that's one of our primary reasons for making this particular change at this time to that particular site. We have a bond election that the board, if all goes well, they'll pass a resolution at the end of the month to go ahead and propose a bond election to build some new facilities for schools and to upgrade an existing facility. We want to abandon the old pool and upgrade that with a whole new pool facility. I'm not here to talk about that. We want to build a new middle level school that would be built over by Old Mill Elementary School. And we want to build a new elementary in this area because this area and surrounding areas nearby are what we think are areas that are best suited for another elementary school. At that time, we would change our configuration. We would have elementary schools go through, once this is assuming the bond passes and we can build these schools, we would have K-5 elementary schools. We would have 2 middle-level schools, 6 through 8, and we would expand the high school by using Timpanogos Intermediate right now. It would become an extension of the high school. So right now our high school has over 1,800 students in it. It's likely to be somewhere between 1,900 and somewhere right around 1,900 this coming school year. And so it is a growing place, and we need to have additional space for the high school. So with all that in mind, what we're here to talk about tonight is the fact that we need another elementary school. What that does by all these changes is it gives us some capacity increases in all 3 areas. Okay, in our elementary schools, in our middle level school, and we have increased capacity in the high school. And hopefully that will carry us out for a few more years. As we look around the valley, anywhere in the valley, we see that there are changes that are continuing to come. I want to make this very clear to everybody here from my point of view. Wasatch School District has an obligation to respond to the development that is coming. The children that are coming, we have an obligation under the law to try and provide the best education we can given the laws and opportunities given the local laws and statutes and working with the local governments and local board of education that we possibly can. We don't bring the kids here, but we're glad to educate them when they come. And that's what we're doing. We want to provide the best possible place for them to be educated that we possibly can. Now, some can debate what's the best place or where the best place is, and we certainly recognize that that's everyone's opinion. But that's the Board of Education's responsibility. That's my responsibility as the administrator for the school district to see what we can do to provide that. So, if the bond is successful, we would start building this school in the spring of 2016. That's when construction would begin. And it takes a year to build these schools. So approximately by August of 2017, that's when the school would be completed and be prepared to be occupied by students. There'd have to be some boundary, enrollment changes, and all those kinds of things will have to occur during the time between construction gets started and construction is completed. The Board of Education will have to contemplate. That will also have to occur to make these things possible. The school that we're talking about building is very similar to Old Mill Elementary. So if you've been to Cobblestone, or you know where Cobblestone is there in the county, the school looks a lot like that. What I'd like to do right now then is kind of I've explained what we're doing, when we're doing it, and why we're doing it from our point of view. I'd like to have Curtis Livingston come up here now, who is a Sandstorm Architects that kind of talk through. We have some, and I'll hold these up, Curtis, while you talk about the site plan, talk about what the school looks like, the floor plan, and also talk about the elevation design, so you give an idea of what the building is like. I'll start this one's going to generate most interest.
Right. So what we'd like to do, so everyone can get oriented. This is Wheeler Road, 2400 south approximately, and this is 780 east as it comes north. North is up on this plan, and you can see this would be the main front of the road. Maybe I'll switch spaces.
We'll change you.
So I'm not blocking them.
You see it, you guys.
Hopefully everybody can see that.
You have to sit on that other corner of that bench.
Would that work there?
See it. Yeah.
Let's slide this over so this people can see this just a little bit. There we go.
Okay. So the main access would occur here on the north side of the property. Again, it's very similar to the old middle school, if you've seen that. A couple of things that we've done is provided all of the main access off of that north street, where we'd have parent drop-off and a bypass lane, so we have a lot of queuing. One of the goals is to get all of the people that would come and drop their students off to be able to be off of the street, drop them off safely adjacent to the school, and then exit.
Off of Wheeler Road.
Off of Wheeler Road. The idea is that circulation would happen off of Wheeler Road, come in, drop off, and then exit back out to the west. So that would create a very safe, simple circulation from a traffic standpoint. There will be a separate bus drop-off here. Buses would arrive, stage there momentarily as long as that takes, and then again leave on Wheeler Road. There's some additional parking we've been able to provide along this side of the building here. They go back into where the kitchen is, the dock, and those kinds of things. But again, all access off of the street. We've provided, we are required for fire access to provide access around the building. We provide that through some emergency gates here that go all the way around and would come out here. There would be a gate here. Again, all of our access can be accomplished off of the north street. One of the things we've been contemplating and discussing is desire to have an emergency access gate off of 780 East. Again, that would be locked, hopefully never used, only in case of an emergency as a second egress or secondary access. If for some reason Wheeler, that road here is blocked and you cannot get to the front of the school, that would provide a logical secondary access. It's not required by code, it's not required by the fire marshal, not required by any of those people, but it is an opportunity that the district would like to explore to utilize as an emergency access.
That's
Again,
in case it is needed if something very serious happens.
absolutely. Other than that, that gate will remain locked and never used. So, school, again, the footprint is very similar. We'll go over the floor plan and what that looks like. But again, everything oriented there, kindergarten.
We'll show all three and then we'll come back to questions if that's okay with you guys. Is that
Okay. Let's school floor plan here, again, has been used successfully at Old Mill. There have been some, I guess, improvements made, if you will, as we move along in our process. We understand the way that the school distributes their curriculum and we make those changes within the building. One of the nice things that we've done is we've changed our entry. We've pushed our administration that is at Old Mill, we pushed it out to the front of the building. The reason we've done that is that provides a secure entry, a more secure entry to the school than we've had. It forces everybody that comes into the building right in front of the receptionist. They have a good view of the bus drop-off, the parent drop-off. That allows them to, again, make sure they understand who's in the building, why they're in the building, and then send them to where they need to be. If you come down here, this is all your administrative areas. This is your media center and kind of core spaces here with some computer labs and other core spaces. And you have your multi-purpose and platform area here with a kitchen where they would eat. The cafeteria is here. All that kitchen would happen here. The mechanical equipment would be here. You can see that this is a 5-classroom per grade school, and that gives you 1 through 6, 5 grades, as well as kindergarten. We have 4 levels of kindergarten there on the far end of the building. There are some support spaces for small group space, activity and resource, and those kinds of things as well within the school. Very practical, very functional school. You can see it's a big box, and so it is very, very functional. Plumbing is oriented all on one kind of middle axis to save cost there. So we've done a a good job over the years of fine tuning this plan. This plan has been built and proved successful. Any other highlights that you feel you need?
No, just know that this particular plan, like the old mill plan, has been built in several different places, but it's been replicated, I don't know how many times, Curtis, many. Is it about 20 times now?
Yeah.
So this is a proven plan, it's an efficient plan. Old Mill is one of our most efficient, as I understand it. Francis, one of our most efficient schools for utilities and those kinds of things. So we feel that that helps also, but we need to build it big enough, you know, to make sure that we can deal with the expanding issues in our community. Going back to what I started with at the beginning, there's a reason why we're doing these things. So, okay.
Then to give you an idea of what the building looks like, there's a conceptual rendering, obviously colors and those things are kind of subject to change depending on the mood of whoever gets to pick those. But it's a nice building, it has masonry and precast concrete on it and some ephes, but you can see there's a nice aesthetic to it with some stone and a bell tower. It gives it a nice feel. I think it fits well within the community that it's serving. It's got a simple floor plan and simple facade, but yet it does give some character and is a nice building as well.
Okay. So, what maybe, are there questions from the board here relative to any of these three things before we move on to the other items that we're
What's the capacity
The
of
capacity,
of this plan?
this, about 800 students.
Anything, John?
So, all right. And I'm gonna need that probably. So one of the, we have people asking,
Oh, okay. I just got one thing before we start in here. On this access that we're talking about over here on this 780 East, is the school board willing to put something in writing on that gate?
But it's an emergency gate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm an elected official, you're an elected official, those things hopefully one day will change. At least for me. Okay, so that, I just wanted to make sure that we had something.
That hasn't even officially been decided 100%.
Right.
Someone will certainly-
That's why I put it out there, just to ask if the school board would feel that there was something that we could have that would be more binding than, because we have agreements and then people retire and move on. And so that was something I thought as an elected official.
That would remain that emergency access.
Right, because of the parameters would change if the traffic patterns change or things like that. So, okay, that was just one thing that I had written down. Okay, are you ready to go?
Well,
one of the Johns has a
yeah,
question.
one of the Johns, I'm the other John. Yeah, I see that as also a drop off, so there's going to be quite a bit of traffic going back and forth through there. Whether that's open or not.
Well, we certainly think it's very possible, and probably likely, that folks who are living down here may come and use this road to drop kids off. Our intention is to tell people generally that that's not what we're intending. We want people to use this. That's what all this is for. Okay.
So how will they get in if that's locked?
No, I just
Well,
walk through it.
They just
So there's no fence? There's nothing around it?
So there would be a
There's
fence.
fence.
Yeah, we would expect the perimeter of the site would be fenced.
All the perimeter of
What
the site
kind
is
of
fenced.
fence is this going to be on the perimeter? Or has
Well,
that been decided?
Typically, those are large chain link fences, tall chain link fences, but again, that's what we typically put around the school. And we do chain link the perimeter, particularly of elementary school.